Connor and Matt, ESC United, coming you from the press center. Connor online, me here on side, and let me show you lots of well, a lot of people just like 30 seconds ago ran to the press conference room, so maybe it's not as exciting. But 30 seconds ago, everyone was going crazy in here because the results, as you can hear, the show is still wrapping up. But of course, I had to come on here and talk about this. Connor, without even talking about countries specifically, your thoughts?
I mean, same dealio as Tuesday. 8 out of 10 for me. So we had some shock qualifiers, and I have a feeling that it's the same way, same discussion that we had on Tuesday of why some of at least one of those shock qualifiers happened. And then shout out to the other one who I said I didn't know if they'd make it through, and they proved me wrong. So we'll talk about it later, but shout out to them.
I believe I got 9 out of 10. This was a really good one for me because the only one that didn't, we'll talk about in a moment, was Israel, which I had as my 10th place. But so much to talk about. And everyone in the chat, as always, if you're new to this, at ESC United, make sure if you have questions for us, of course, we're going to go for these things one by one. If a super chat comes in, of course, we'll address it. We'll talk to you as much as possible. I know there will be sad people in the chat, but a lot of excited people as well. So let's talk this through. Let's go. Do you have the announcement order in front of you by any chance?
I sure do. I have it on a sticky.
Perfect. You are the best. I do know that Belgium was the first country to be announced, and our entire team got that one wrong because we all thought with the performances, how they went, it wouldn't be enough to make it, but he made the cut. People were concerned also because he had some less than ideal notes in the jury show and all of that stuff, but clearly that did not deter them to vote for it, and maybe even the televoters went for it. We won't know until Sunday morning, basically. But yeah, I will say I was a little bit surprised about it, but it was a pleasant surprise because unlike some of the other on my team, I'm actually quite fond of the song. But what are your thoughts, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, this one was not one that I had kind of qualification hopes for, mainly just because I was like, I feel like that this one's going to be a jury song, that he's going to need to really pick up a lot of points from the jury and a few points from the televote. And I think that that's what ended up happening. I think that it's possible that the jury assisted him in a way that he got really high and the televote aggregated him out. I don't want to sound like mean, but I would not be shocked to see him 9th and 10th, just like I said with Switzerland as well, because of that aggregated piece. I just feel like there's maybe not enough in here to really scream top 6 televote song when you have some of the other countries that are in here, I think, that are in a higher contention for those higher televote slots. So again, I think it's just that aggregate. I think that he really, really benefited from being high in the jury, top 10, maybe or top 11 in the televote, that aggregated him out and kicked someone else out of a slot.
That could have been the case. And I find it interesting that once again, just like on Tuesday, the less than expected qualifier announced early. I am not convinced. I have a hunch that this is not a coincidence, but it makes for great TV because, fans starting to like sweating and getting nervous, like, what is going on? But regardless of what we thought, none of us on our team in the end had him in there, and I'm glad he proved us wrong. And I have nothing but respect and happy feelings for Belgium, and I'm glad to see you in the finals. Congratulations. Who was the second country announced? Czech Republic,
the second,
right?
Was the Czech Republic.
And no sad faces coming from you there, huh?
No, not at all. No, I was super excited just because of the fact that, I mean, listen, they closed the show. And I think that there's a very valid reason that they close the show. They knew it was going to be a fan favorite. They knew it was going to be a banger. They knew that it was going to be a really big performance. And Dominica killed those vocals. You know, I know yesterday that she was
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Yesterday, I mean, she was like a hair off the pitch, and so the backing track and her were like, but tonight, I mean, she just destroyed it, and I'm just so proud of her. So proud of all three of them, really, and I would not be shocked to see them top 3, top 4 in the semifinal overall. Because it was such a great performance.
It was absolutely mesmerizing. I see a lot of people are screaming in the chat about San Marino. We'll get to it, but we have a few other things to go through. If you have any comments or questions, talk about the ones that we already addressed, and then we can go back to them at ESC United. We're just trying to stay on track a little bit. And as Gilad said, We Are Domi performance was amazing. And we've been we told you so, but it just, when we saw it, I'm like, this looks so good, and it really just came across. And I checked social media, Twitter in particular, just like the non-fans, or like not non-fans, but the one that don't follow it all along. There was a huge response to that, so it didn't surprise me at all. Third country?
The third country was Azerbaijan.
And that, I think we all on our team said, why aren't the betting odds or the press poll why don't they have Azerbaijan in the top 10? And to me, I still don't think it did as well in the televote, but this was clearly a qualifier. I don't even know what else to say. Right, Connor? Or what do you think?
I mean,
I think it really had.
As you said in the qualifier video, this was my number 1. So I knew that he was on lock. There was never a question in my mind that he was not going to make it through to the grand final. And I think specifically when we're thinking about Azerbaijan here, I think that he's going to be really, and the delegation are going to be really excited going into the press conference, because all of the other slower songs are all in the first half. So if they can pick a second half draw rather, I think that they're going to be so over the moon, because I think in Australia is in this case as well, they are going to really stick out in a good way in the second half of the show, whereas a lot of other slower songs are going to get grouped together in a very slow running order. So they actually got really lucky that they're in this semifinal, because there's more spots for them in the second half than there were in the first semi.
Of course, unless they have a really bad luck of the draw here, they're going to end up in the first one. But I think the odds are in their favor. That sounds very Hunger Games, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I do agree with you on what you're saying. I think this is going to be probably not a horrible year for Azerbaijan in terms of final results. I did see, interesting enough, it wasn't as warmly received on social media. Again, that's all just an anecdotal, so take that with a grain of salt. But once again, I don't expect it to win, but this will be high up in the juries, even in the finals. And yes, there are lots of ballads and like beautiful voices to choose from, but it just, this whole feel about the song, it does not come as a surprise to me at all. Forgive me, I'm multitasking here and I'm uploading a video at the same time. So if I seem like I'm distracted, it's because of that. If you see a very relevant question in the chat, Connor, let me know. Some people are saying, and that's true, the camera work at Azerbaijan was awful. Some people on our forum also commented on that. Did you notice any of that? I didn't pay close attention because I've seen it so many times.
I didn't see anything that was like super bad. I will say the split piece seemed like the light was off just a little bit, because he had like 3/4 of his face lit up at that point. But no, I mean, overall, are we talking specifically Azerbaijan, or are we talking about all camera work? Because Azerbaijan seemed okay. Azerbaijan seemed pretty fine to me. You know, here a bobble here and there, but things happen. It's a live show.
Yeah,
but maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
So yeah, I wasn't paying too close attention on this one, just because I've seen it so many times and I was tweeting. So what was the fourth one?
That would be Poland.
Poland, not a shocker. Everyone on our team predicted that one. I really don't have much to add. It's just wonderful to have them back in the finals. We had a lot of returnees in this semi. The first semi, we had a lot of like back-to-back individuals, but here we saw a few, were in there last time around, and it's just a nice feeling. Poland being one of them a few years. So I don't know what else to add. I mean, he sounded fantastic once again, and again, anecdotal, but I saw a lot of comments online about, whoa, that voice. People were, even if something like, yeah, the song's good, but his voice, well, I really think this is where, when you bring a fantastic, out of this world vocal performance, sometimes, even when they just are okay about the song, it really changes the vibe and the feeling. And as you can see, that happened here, I think, for a lot of people. So I believe Poland did quite well with the juries and the televoters here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Even though this song isn't in my personal like high top five for the overall semifinal, it's kind of around maybe 7, 8, or 9. I don't know. I never really re-ranked anything post rehearsals, but yeah, no, I would definitely agree with you. I'd say it's top 5 overall in the ranks, probably top 4, mainly just because I see it having a higher televote turnout than jury. So like maybe 4th in the televote, 6th in the jury, so 5th overall in the rank. Because I definitely think that this is a song that way more people showed up for in the televote than perhaps high, 12s, 10s, and 8s in the juries for. Because I just
Yeah.
think that there are some more vocally stunning performances than just Poland. And so I think he split votes across Azerbaijan and Australia. And I would be shocked to see Australia and Azerbaijan getting more of the higher scores and him getting 8s and 7s.
That could be the case. By the way, everyone, I know the internet is, I think, slowing down a little bit here again because everyone is jumping on, and it has not been the greatest internet experience here on the press center. So if we lag, or I lag a little, just know I'll be back. It's just going to be a little choppy at times. Don't send me nasty emails. So yes, I think that was a no-brainer a little bit, and the 5th one was
Finland.
And can I just say, I want to do a little, I'm usually not that kind of person, but I want to tell to my team, rub it in your face, rub it in your nose. I'm kidding. Of course, I totally understand why people had their hesitations when it comes to Finland's odds from seeing. I was the only one ultimately who decided. I think the song is still good enough, and there is something there that sets itself apart. And I just had this inkling that it would go through. Ultimately, I was the only one, and the team overall said no. I am not surprised it went through. I'm curious to hear also people in the chat when it comes to Finland. Were you guys surprised, or did you like the performance? I personally think that the Rasmus and the lead singer, they're certainly almost every performance have gotten a little better, and I felt like now he's at a place where it really felt like they are comfortable with everything that's going on, and I have a feeling they're gonna do even better in the final. So I do think that sometimes when you I think especially the Rasmus, big name, and we've heard the song, we've seen the staging, that sometimes when you see it too many times, you get confused, you overthink it at times, and I think that's maybe what we have done at some point. I don't know, but I'm just really thrilled that it did go through. And we talked before in our pre-show about it. You were a little bit more like, I wouldn't say confident, but you felt like it's not going to go far. What are your thoughts now that
Yeah.
it did go through?
Well, and I think people probably did see a lot of my concerns from the staging perspective, that the staging is a little clunky and doesn't always
Yeah.
work, I think, in the way it was originally intended. But I think what helped him, and again, I didn't watch the jury show to know how the vocals turned out. But like you said, they have been improving every single time. And so what we saw in the second rehearsals, which may have just been let's figure out the staging and the markings and stuff like that, he wasn't really nailing it fully vocally. He had very open vocals. And then now it sounds like he really just was focusing in, using all of his air, really getting those notes and locking stuff in. And so, I mean, that probably is why they qualified. I think if they had if they had to use perhaps an on tape from the second rehearsal or something, I feel like my concerns would have been valid and they might not have made it through. But because they got all the way, obviously, to the jury show and then to the live show, you can improve upon that, and they turned it out. So again, I said, and I think the pre-show, if they prove me wrong, I'll be wrong, and they've proved me wrong. So congrats to Finland and congrats to the Rasmus. You pulled it out. So
Yeah. And Rena, as a point that I wanted to make as well, I agree with what you're saying. Finland had one of their better performances. Laurie had a bit weak opening. It was a little shaky in the beginning, that is true. But you had the balloon to focus on, so you don't focus on the vocals in the beginning as much. And the good thing is about this kind of song, it is not necessarily, as at least for the televoters, as striking if there's like a slightly off note with a rock song like that. So I think it's much easier to forgive slightly vocals with the whole package there, because it's just energy and it really got the crowd going. So all of that helped. So maybe some nostalgic vote, who knows? I don't think they sweep the semi. I think they got in there and did what they had to, and we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, that was, to me, not a surprise, but I'm pleasantly I'm just happy that they made it. Who else? Number 6. Oh, by the way, Connor, do you have the press conference on or ready to have it on?
It does not start in for another 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. I don't even know why I need to ask you. You're so well prepared. Forgive me. Who's number 6?
It's because I made the schedule.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Estonia.
Estonia. So let's see here. Now we can pat ourselves on the back here, Connor. We the only 2 on the team that said that they will go through. Ultimately, the team score overall, Team United, said Estonia would not go through. So again, it's just that kind of song to me that just screams qualified. It has all the qualities. It's not the most outstanding piece of art that has ever been created, but it ticks so many right boxes for having a great or decent result in a semi. Catchy melody. My sister messaged me. I'm like, ooh, that's a handsome dude. I'm like, I'm gonna tell your boyfriend. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now, and I got another chocolate from Montenegro. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So I knew this just ticked all the boxes needed to go through. And I mean, we kind of discussed it earlier. Connor, do you have anything else to add about Estonia?
No, I just think that, obviously this is another song that I did not see a lot of because of kind of going back and forth from interviews and work and stuff like that. So I think that the rehearsals were fine. And that's kind of what I was using when I did it, because we watched the first dress rehearsal. My brain just went blank there for a hot second. Used the first rehearsal and I was like, okay, this looks good. And I think that it came together just slightly more for me. And so I'm actually really happy that it made it through. I would say this is probably a 6th or 7th in the semifinal overall, if I had, just based off of who made it through. There are other people I think would be on the bubble, but no, yeah, I think that this is great. And it's going to be a great foil to a lot of other things in the grand final. So I'm actually kind of pleased that it came through. Yeah, that's all I would add.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And we just want to go through the countries real quick. But if you guys have questions in the chat, you know how it goes at ESC United. Who's number 7?
Number 7. Australia.
Gotta go to you first, Connor. Wave that flag. As Riley shall stand for years now. Again, none of us saw like, what? No one was surprised. But as the countries were announced, I don't think you were doubting Australia's chances, right? You knew it was just like, oh, come on, just give it to him.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
I was kind of waiting for it. I actually had thought that they would have put or announced Sweden before Australia, just because obviously Australia didn't qualify last year. And I thought like, oh, they're going to kind of drag this out. So it coming 7th in the producer running of announcements actually doesn't shock me. They didn't want to pump the gas too hard on Australia.
Real quick, actually, before I interrupt you, I'm going to interrupt you actually because I want you to address also that little mishap that happened. If you want to address that.
Yeah. So the mic stand. So I was watching the clip that Mel and I think it was Mel posted on Twitter from the back side of the stage and what's happening. And the stagehand just, I guess, straight up forgot he needed to take the mic stand and give it to Sheldon. He just like Rosalind from Armenia in the first semifinal did, figured it out and just kept the show running. And so props to Sheldon for figuring out how to continue that staging concept. I mean, I know that it was just taking the kind of mask off, but to do that while also holding and supposed to have both hands, it's not the easiest thing to do. But yeah, he recouped really well. And again, I think that this is one of those ones where, yeah, the televote may have hurt him a little bit in the running, but I think the jury definitely helped him to, again, aggregate higher than perhaps, like I had said, maybe with like Poland or Belgium, who probably aggregated down. I think he aggregated up.
Cannot wait for the actual breakout there to see how that all pans out and how close you are with your, analysis. But yeah, and then that was the 7th one, Australia.
That was 7th, yes.
And I know Sweden was number 8. I know Sweden was number 8. And I'm like, come on. Like, we believe that Sweden is not going to go through. Give me a break. So Sweden was there. And another flag from Connor. He has all of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I think this one's going to be quick. Expected, rightfully deserved. It was a great performance, great song, great staging. This is going to go far. Anything else to add, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, everything came together, which I think is the important part here.
Yeah.
I always had so many concerns from that first dress rehearsal. I didn't watch the juries, but I know that there were a couple of issues here and there. But yeah, since everything came together, this is a great package. I still don't know if it screams winner to me. Like, it's not like that is the winner. I think it is still a potential winner. But I think that she has a bit of a Western battle in front of her to win, because I think there are a lot of pretty well off delegations and packages that she's competing with. But if they can pull off the same thing they did tonight on Saturday, she's in a great spot as long as people vote.
She needs the second half for sure, because we have so many slow songs in the first half. The good news is that there are not many first half slots left, and she's one of the last ones to draw. So we shall see how that's going to pan out. And as always, the press conference will start shortly, but we will keep you updated on the whole situation and who draws what half. You can find out right away, right here. Number 9 was Romania, right?
Romania.
Lots
Llámame,
of bebe. Yeah, I was over the moon, so happy for them. And the press center went wild. Granted, we have a few Romanians here, but not that many, actually. Just a lot of people very, very happy for them, and rightfully so. It's been a few years, and there was just it just felt like a qualifier. And even though I believe, once again, I'm not sure the betting odds actually last minute had him in the top 10. The press did not. Everyone on our team, let me double check it before I lie. Yes, had him as a qualifier. And going to you, Connor, you're actually probably ranked it higher than anybody else. So even though it was probably a relief for a lot of Romanians, I'm so happy for you guys. So happy. I know you had to sit out for several years now, and now you're back, and it is a wonderful feeling. But I don't think. Were you still like, okay, maybe this will not happen for Romania, or were you already at this point, second to last will be Romania?
So while they were all coming in, I was like, okay, I don't know who the other person's gonna be. But I was like, one of these two has to be Romania. Like, there's no way with that beautiful package and vocal delivery and choreography and staging that people didn't vote for Romania. So I was like, one of these has to be Romania, and the other one's going to be heartbreak, because I want Georgia and Ireland and Cyprus and Serbia
and all of them in.
So I was like, so at some point I have to cry. But I was like, I was nervous, but I was like, this has to be one of them. Like, it has to. And so I wasn't shocked to see it go through. I'm not shocked to see it come again in that ninth qualifier slot. I think they wanted Romania to perhaps sweat it out a little bit since they're returning to the grand final alongside alongside Poland. So yeah, but I think Romania is going to be very excited. You said I had it high. I had it third in my
Mm-hmm.
qualifier slots. And I think that people are going to be pretty shocked to see where Romania could possibly have come in the overall results for the semifinal.
Could be a summer hit. Could absolutely be a summer hit. And oh my God, I'm so sorry, Serbian fans, Serbian people, and those who support the song. This is like the worst feeling you can have. And I don't know how many were confident, but I know no matter how confident you are, there's always that little bit of doubt, right? That little tiny bit in the back of your mind. Oh shit, not again. And but it was an amazing feeling here in the press center. Like everyone was just screaming. There's so much love for Serbia this year. Not that they usually don't, but you know what I mean. Especially this year, there is something that the Eurovision bubble in particular, of course, really, really likes about the song. And clearly, it wasn't just us. There's a lot of support out there, probably. So even though it was the last one, I, until the very end, was really nervous. Will people get it? Will people understand it, connect with it? And I will go again on anecdotal evidence here. And that is social media of initial reactions. And people were just like, I don't know what the hell this was. I'm totally digging it. That was basically a lot of people's first impression of it. There was something mesmerizing about the performance. And even though they may not have gotten the whole idea of the song, they were still smitten by it. And that, I think, was really the key factor here. And it's not that I doubted the song. I just thought like people may not get it, but it's just beautiful. It did come across, and that Serbia is sending something that they're so excited about because it's some people may consider it an entertaining entry because, it's good to know to wash your hands kind of situation, but clearly it's a whole lot more than that. But to them, it means so much. And it's just a wonderful thing that you get to see it again. No matter if it comes last or first, it's not going to come last. But you know what I mean? At least you're in the finals and you're going to bring home a really good result. I'm just happy that they're there. Connor, what are your thoughts? I don't think that anyone on the team doubted Serbia's chances. No, we all five said it'll go through. Any other thoughts?
I just kind of had like a little kind of moment of heart attack of like, oh, well, have we been right the whole time? Was this not going to translate to the European audience? This message of, kind of being healthy and washing your hands. And I mean, yeah, they definitely made them sweat it out for it. I think that the producers were smart in doing this. I mean, number one, you keep people watching if you announce Serbia last.
Yeah.
But also, they obviously paid attention to the fact that people were clapping along during the song. Like you could hear it on the feed, how loud people were reacting. So I think that was a massive, massive part of everything. For some reason, they just skipped the Czech Republic in the press conference.
Oh, by accident?
Yeah, by accident.
Oh, well, what happened? What's the
anyway,
first draw then? Did we get a draw already?
No. So what they did is the host announced them, and he went,
"Oh,
all right, let's bring out the artists. Jeremy from Belgium, Nadir from Azerbaijan."
And they're like, "Hey, hello."
And so they're just in the tunnel, and
what am
Benny
I, chopped liver?
just like why? What's going on? So they just walk on stage like awkwardly. Yeah. But yeah, again, I think it was a smart move from the producers because you kept a lot of fans on edge all the way to the end versus announcing all of the fan favorites in the front half. You kept a big one at the back. So.
All right, let's talk about some of the acts now that did. Actually, before we do that, let me take a look here and see exactly. So I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got 9 out of 10. I said Israel would be the 10th qualifier, the 10th place. That didn't happen. Instead of Belgium, Sean got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He got only 7 right on this one, I think. So not too many. And Gabe got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He got 8. 1, 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm counting Roy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So I win this round. Woohoo! It'll never happen again. But yeah, Sean loses. Now it was. I'm sure we may look at a outcome where like 5 points separated the 9th and 12th place kind of situation, because that is easily possible, and it's virtually impossible to predict that. But let's talk about some of the ones that didn't go through. Let's go in running order. Israel did not go through. I thought it's going to be 10th maybe. We had 3 people saying yes. Connor, you said no. After everything you've seen tonight, any big surprise?
Not really. You know, I want to address the elephant in the room here.
What's that?
Feel like his little stunt during the voting process did not assist him. Because if that had happened after voting had closed, we'd be having a different conversation. It would have just been like, what's he doing on, what's he doing? But
Can you explain? Can you explain in case some people don't know what you're referring to?
So in case people don't know what I'm referring to, basically what Michael Ben David did is he got up from, which Monica did this too, but she did it in, I think, in the jury show. But he got up out of his little green room couch and went up and like joined the hosts during their announcement of the voting and explaining how voting works. And he was basically mouthing along because, again, they've heard this a couple of times now. Jeremy's in the second half.
Belgium is second.
Belgium.
Hold your thought. That's very important. Belgium, second half. So that increases everyone else's chance a little bit of first half, but Belgium's good to go. Of course, Belgium mid-tempo song, so we'll see. Anyway, now go ahead.
Yeah, so again, I think that really hurt his televote, because I think people were like, well, I wanted to vote for you, but now that I'm seeing you do this, and the lines aren't even like just opened. They literally opened like 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
I think people basically who were going to vote, or there goes my flag, hadn't voted yet, chose not to vote for him instead.
Yeah. It was very interesting because you said earlier before we went live, well, you said like not congrats, but look at your viral tweet, and I was like, I don't know what you mean, and I'm like, because I tweeted about it, not thinking it would be like have a huge reaction. I just said it kind of pissed me off because it was just disrespectful towards everyone involved, because you're not the only artist there taking the attention, and that this is a streamline. I'm not sure if he was drunk or was he just like hyper. I don't know what, but it seemed so unnecessary. And I said, am I overreacting here? Like, am I being just like sensitive? And virtually everyone was like, no. And now it has like 2,000 likes or something like that in an hour.
2,000. It's about 800. So let's not oversell the tweet.
No, refresh it.
Oh, is it?
It's
higher
1,000. It's 1,969 as of right now.
Sorry, take it back.
So it just, and I know that people saying he was even trying to kiss Alessandro, which I never like when people force like this. And don't get me wrong, we all sure want to kiss Alessandro. It's a super nice guy, but it's just something boundaries. And people were saying he's been trying to do that a lot. And I think people over the last week gotten a little bit tired, that behavior. And I personally don't like it, but I don't think he means ill will. That's just like the boundaries situation there. That's why probably people were a little bit turned off by this. I don't think that had any impact on the vote itself, of course, because most people don't know who he was until right now who vote. I can see where maybe his little stunt could have turned off a few people. We'll never know. But it's always something that'll be in the back of our minds, if that's something that could have happened. So that is certainly a possibility. I don't know. Also not going through, unfortunately, we all had a little soft spot for it. Gabe and Roy thought it was going to happen, but that it wasn't meant to be for Georgia. And I didn't think it had a shot. I was wanting to be wrong on this one, but to it's just too out there, I think, for most people to really embrace. And as much as I love diversity and I love this, what they put forward, there's always like this striking the balance, sending something original that really, stands out, but still reaches people, has like, for the lack of a better word, mainstream appeal without going mainstream. And sometimes that is difficult to achieve. And I don't think Georgia did it this year. At the same time, I'm not saying change Georgia. If you think you just want to send something that is just out of the box, and if it works for qualification, then it will. And if it doesn't, then so be it. We'll be back next year with something even crazier. Then I embrace that as well. But I just don't think there was enough appeal there for the masses to go for it. Is that how you feel as well?
Yeah, I think the issue here is that, especially when you're thinking about the juries and the televote, I think the song is a little bit too repetitive because it's and it's just kind of on a constant loop. And while that plays in its favor because it has that novelty sense, I think that it actually hinders them a little bit, just in terms of voting, because someone had put like, it got a little bit annoying halfway through. They were kind of like, ugh, so. Oh,
Yeah.
Czech Republic is in the first half.
Oh, so it's actually not the worst case scenario for them, because I mean there could be a potential opener, but they also benefit from having all these ballots in there. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, they are going to be a good foil, but now I'm worried that, yeah, they are going to open the show.
They scream open, especially since they closed it.
I don't want that.
I know, but we'll see. See.
That was my flag forewarned the fall.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Malta, another country not making the cut, not the fan favorite this year. I still thought I didn't think that Malta would be in the top 10 of the televote. I could see a universe where the juries could have, again, randomly really pushed it so hard that it would go through. And that did not happen. We don't know exactly the breakout, but maybe the juries just didn't feel it either. That was the only way for me to see potential, because we've seen songs where the juries go for the Maltese. I always call Malta a little bit mini Sweden, because they always like Malta to a lesser extent than Sweden, and then the televoters not as much. So this year it just didn't come together. And I know Malta tried changing the song, all that stuff, but ultimately the staging, as I said before, didn't really elevate the song. I wish they would have listened to my suggestion, pulling a John Lundvik, bringing making the big choir, the gospel part, the highlight of the song, and really elevate it to a new level. Are you laughing at me, Connor?
Yes, I am. I wish they would have listened to me and my advice.
I know what I'm talking about. I don't. But it's so funny in hindsight. I can claim all of that, right? Because now we know I didn't qualify. But I'm serious, though. I think that they missed the mark with the whole package overall. And I don't know if it would have been enough anyways, but I think it would have maybe given them a better shot at it. I don't know. I just think it was just not the right song for the right time. Connor?
Someone had put this on Twitter, and it gave me mad Malta at Junior Eurovision vibes. That I think the audience and the lyrical structure and content of this song was not big Eurovision. And I think that just the issue here is that it also came off as slightly inauthentic, and then also a little repetitive as well. So I think when you kind of put all of those things together, this was just a nice package and a nice performance, but nothing that stood out in a way compared to some of our qualifiers, perhaps, where it was like, I need to go vote for blank. They were like, oh, Malta's here. And then, okay, next song. So I think that's what happened to them, is I think that they got lost in the running order. And I think that the package, the staging overall, needed some work if they were going to keep the song, or they maybe needed a different song to have a different stage concept. Yeah. Plus, standing on pianos. That's so old. Why are we still standing on pianos?
I don't know. There's such abusive attitude towards pianos this year. Italy standing on a piano, Malta. I'm like, save the pianos is what I'm saying here.
Save the pianos. Cool. Save the world.
Save the world. It's just not right. Another country
So
not making it was San Marino, and I'll stand by what I'm.
hold on.
Oh,
Azerbaijan is drawing.
ooh, Azerbaijan, better second half.
They're playing rock paper scissors.
Oh, come on.
Because Nadir picked one and his translator picked one, and so they played rock paper scissors for which one. So Nadir picked his,
And it is.
and it is second half for Azerbaijan.
That's good for him. That's really, really good option. So
Yep.
Azerbaijan, nicely done. I mean, it's not like they get they just luck of the draw, but good for you.
Way to go! You
way to
picked the
go.
right one.
San Marino, going back, I know a lot of fans are sad, but I keep saying what I'm saying. I think since they decided to throw the kitchen sink, it hit people in the head, knocked them out, and they were just overwhelmed by everything. It was just probably a little bit too much, maybe. I can still see a potential like 7th, 8th place with the televoters, best case scenario, but the Nigerians were like, we can't deal with it. I do think, despite all this fun, entertaining staging, the song was never that popular in the first place. And I don't think that the song was strong enough melodically and just to really give it like the really big boost to be like in the top 5 of the televote. Because I think you need to be at least in the top 5 to stay top 10 overall, even if you flop with the juries. I'm trying to think if there was ever a time where a song that was in the top 10 with the televoters and didn't qualify in the end. I think 6 was the high. I could be wrong, but I cannot recall of a song that finished in the top 5 of the televote and then didn't make it. So, and I don't think it's that kind of song that is a top 5 televote song, because it's just maybe a little bit too jarring. And I'm sad. San Marino had great 2 qualifications with a small country like that. That is a great achievement. It does suck because they finally did this great national final with all these songs, and then they're not even going to make it. So that's a bummer. It would have been a fun little, like, it's very Eurovision-esque, I would call this. But hey, anything else, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier. I think that this is just a visually overwhelming performance. And like you said, throwing the kitchen sink, not on the stage, literally at you. Like, we picked it up and we threw it at the camera and we hit you with it at home. Yeah, I think that's what hindered them. And I would not be shocked to see them top 9 with the televote, maybe 13th or 14th in the jury. And then again, aggregate down to
something like a 12th place kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that is very, I think my gut feeling is telling me the same thing. Thank you, Lee Fern, for the super chat. Let me read that real quick. Keep up the great work. My family watched the UK clip from tonight, and I showed them the full 3 minutes. Also already up on TV, on YouTube. Great. And they loved it. They are excited for Saturday. It's nice to see you British people be excited again. It's been a minute, and I cannot wait to talk about that in a little bit more detail. Actually, another sad situation, I guess. Cyprus not in, and I know, Connor, you thought it would go through before I hand it over to you. I did have it as a non-qualifier, and it was, again, I was going between Israel and Cyprus as my 10th place, right? Am I going to put in Israel or am I going to put in Cyprus? Ultimately, it wouldn't have mattered because neither of them qualified, so it's not like I could have got a flawless record there. But I just had this feeling. But I'm wondering. I'll let you answer in a second, of course, Connor. If we could have had our predictions now after this particular performance, you may have potentially changed it or not, because I personally thought that was her weakest performance out of all of them. It was really off a little bit vocally, and she always, I always call, she sounds so good and she felt comfortable. She almost sounds like she has a live voice that sounds auto-tuned. I always thought with her, which I thought was interesting. But tonight, something didn't come together, and I think that really, really hurt her with the televote. And I think it just wasn't meant to be, and I feel bad because I really have a soft spot for that song. I love that kind of music. I want that at Eurovision, and I hope they don't feel discouraged because they've been sticking to a certain formula, Cyprus, at Eurovision, that has somewhat worked, and now they tried something different, and now I'm worried. I'm like, see, let's go again, like hip-shaking music, and I don't want them to feel discouraged. So, but yeah, it just wasn't. No updates on the draw, right?
Poland is currently on his way down. He's grooving and jiving.
Okay,
So
Poland needs a second half.
we're getting there, and then I'll talk about Cyprus. He's untwisting it unconventionally, and it's a second half.
Ooh, all right.
There you go.
Poland. As I said, the other one, good job. Good job drawing the right number.
Yes, very good job. Yeah, so
Good job.
specifically with Cyprus, no, I agree with you, and I think that if I had ranked tonight, like right before we had gotten on, or I guess right after the performances had ended with Czech Republic, I probably wouldn't have put Cyprus in my 10. Again, I have no bearings for the jury show because I didn't watch it, so I don't know if her vocals were better there than they were tonight. But she just sounded so nervous and like unsure. And then she recovered in the chorus, but I think because the verse is literally a solid 40 seconds of the show, it sets a really bad tone for the beginning part of your performance. So visually stunning, like the choreography, like the stage design, like the lighting. It was the vocal that I think really hindered her in the end. And I would not be shocked to see this outside the top 10 with the juries, but probably like 13th, 14th, or 15th with the televote, where she aggregates around 13th or 14th. But yeah, I don't think the televote went for her in the way that Cyprus was hoping. And that's so sad. I love Cyprus so much. Like you said, I love this kind of music too. So it's one that I'll play again on Friday in her memory, in memoriam of Cyprus at Eurovision 22. But yeah, it doesn't shock me that they didn't make it.
Yeah, I was bummed out about that. It's the first time since 2013 that Cyprus didn't qualify, so they've gotten a really nice run here. So hopefully that will not be a discouraging thing. It happens to everyone except Ukraine, but everybody else, it does.
Literally every single country has not qualified at some point except for Ukraine. They're the only country left with a 100% qualification streak.
Yeah. Thank you again, Lee Fern, for the super chat. And by the way, we will answer a few questions in just a moment. We just want to get through the countries real quick, and then we'll answer your questions as well. The running order for the final is due in the next hour, right? Not necessarily, no, because they will need to sit down, the producers, and write it down. Usually, I think last year we got like at 2 a.m, I want to say.
Yeah. So what they'll do is they will take sticky notes with every country, and they will divide them up into the halves, and they will just start kind of doing just like a wall in the press center and start saying, okay, well, I think we should start here. Where do we want to go after them? And they just kind of put them together. Then they'll be like, is this a good running order? And they might swap people around, and then whatever. Then they work on the second half. And that takes a really long time. So right now, I mean, I know that it's midnight in Europe time. It's probably going to be 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. at this rate, because Krister's gone and they have a shiz ton of ballads at the beginning. They got their work cut out for them on this one.
Yes. Fortunately, at this point, it's been the ballads in this one seem to be ending up in the second half, with Czech Republic in the first half. So maybe they're probably thrilled. They probably had like a magnet or somewhere to make sure that Czech Republic will end up in the first one.
Finland in the first half.
Okay.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't think there's any more first halves.
Unless they consider it to 13. So there may be one left potentially.
Maybe, but like between Australia, Estonia, Romania, Serbia, and Sweden, the only person who doesn't want it is going to be Australia.
Or Sweden. Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, Sweden, I wouldn't want it either, but they'd go at the end of the first half, so I wouldn't be that worried about it. But like, I think Australia really doesn't want it because they're going to blend in too much.
True. We'll see, but the odds are much lower now than they were before to end up in the first half. So they must be a lot more relieved. So Ireland did not make it. Brooke, that's rich. I know there were a lot of people thinking, "Ooh, it may go through." And let me take a look at the list here. Connor, I think you're one of them. Sean also thought it would go through. It was very popular. I can only speak for myself. I just don't think as nicely. Some people thought it was staged. I never got quite the under. I didn't quite get what people thought it was. That it was fairly straightforward to me. I don't necessarily think it elevated the song to the level where I thought it needed to be to go through. And I'm not surprised. I would have been more surprised if it would have qualified. So, and nothing against. I mean, I wanted to see, of course, Ireland once again in the finals, but I think they just need to go back to the drawing board and see what can be done. Brooke tried her best. I would have been happy for her, but just watching it, I just don't see where are the votes coming from for this. It seems liked enough, but not, being like, oh, it's going to be my number one. And that is, I think, what exactly happened here. Baxley B, thank you, by the way, for the super chat. Got 8 out of 10, went for Ireland and Cyprus over Belgium and Romania. Belgium, the big surprise, vocals not great. Praying for a Sam Ryder win. Yes, I do think that you can make a case that Belgium was the Switzerland of this semi. A lot of people are a little bit more surprised. But I don't know if that's a fair comparison either. So, I mean, Brooke, she tried her on, and what I can say is I highly doubt that Ireland got a last place again in the semis. I just don't see that happening. I know that you have your flag in the back there, Connor, so you're a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But did you? I mean, it's not like you were completely shocked, even though you had it as a qualifier. But it wasn't like a sure qualifier for you either, right?
Yeah, no. It was my bubble, and I thought what was gonna happen was again she was gonna come 9th or 10th and just squeak in there just by the nose or the hair on her chin, hair on her head, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I think the issue here is that I think she was really hindered watching again Ireland. I haven't really watched a lot of from rehearsals, so seeing it back, I think she was really hurt by the stage. And things not working the way that they were hoping they would when they got there. She put out the best possible package and performance that she could. I mean, she nailed everything. She left everything on the floor up there. So I really just think it's a matter of this was, I think, an unfortunate draw for RTE. I think if everything had worked the way that it was supposed to, they would have had a higher chance of qualifying. But the stage just looked a little too empty. Compared to some other songs that were coming before or after her. I think she just got a bad running order at hindrance with the stage design. And I think the other thing that really maybe hurt her is just the fact that lyrically it's not the strongest song. And so, and again, as well with Georgia, it's a little repetitive. And so maybe that also hurt her in the long run. Maybe they went for the voters went for things that were a little bit more, I don't want to say higher quality because it's a good song, but lyrically more complex. I put it that way.
I guess saying, yeah. Thank you again, Lee Fern, for your super chat. My last donation this year, but I can take this opportunity to thank all the team, ESC United, for bringing this amazing coverage to people that can't be there in Turin. Thank you. We love you. Love you back. And thank you for the super chats that you've given us. As always, if you want to do that, you always support our next endeavor because it's a very expensive one. If you can do super chats, or as said, you can use PayPal link below because all that money will go to us and none of that to YouTube. But as always, if you like the video, that also goes a long way, and that is free. And share and follow us on all social media platforms as well. And North Macedonia, I don't think we have much. Oh, no more updates on the other draws, right?
Nope, they're all taking pictures together.
Oh, that's right. They do 2 groups. North Macedonia, I have nothing. I mean, I don't think North Macedonia was. I can almost bunch the 2 together, North Macedonia and Montenegro, that didn't make it. I don't think they were truly ever in contention, at least according to my estimation. And they tried their best. I also think that Vladana had one of her less good nights as well, unfortunately, vocally. I thought it was slightly not right there either. At least on my end, it sounded like it. Andrea, she sounded great, but I just don't think the song just goes anywhere. And don't say it goes in circles. I know. And so that was just something that I was yeah, I don't know what else to add to this one. I hope they're going to come back with something a little bit more intuitive. How do you feel?
Well, and I hope North Macedonia I mean, all the drama aside, doesn't take this as like, well, we're out, goodbye, peace.
Hmm. I fixed the link,
They
by the way, and for PayPal, people were asking right now, so I fixed it. Thank you for letting me know.
But yeah, I think that this is one of those things where they did a really good job with what they had and what they could. They could have had a very worse result if Superman had made it. So I'm just going to put that out there. It could have
Hmm.
been worse. But yeah, and then Vladana, I agree with you. Maybe wasn't the most or spotlight worthy performance from her. I still think she did a great job, and
Yeah.
Montenegro is trying as hard as they can to deliver something, especially for such a small broadcaster with not the highest amount of funds. They're still trying to keep up, and I appreciate that. I just think that the song quality perhaps wasn't there. And then there were some moments where she was just a little off pitch wise. It sounded kind of like exhausted. She felt exhausted or sounded exhausted on stage. I don't know if that was emotion. I don't know if that was like, kind of her trying to give off like the breath kind of moment, because she had that moment where she like breath, like she like breathed into the mic. So for both of these, I hope that it's not going to be a matter of like, well, we suck, we're out. I hope it's a matter of what can we do, like Romania, what can we do differently this time to get us in that room?
Yeah.
And they have it in them. They have it in them.
Yeah,
They
and I
just
will
need to do
say
it.
one thing, because even though I said the songs themselves probably were not like voting grabber, I find both songs have really good lyrical content. So it's sad. I just wish I could have come up with something a little bit more. Excuse me, where the lyrics, the melody helps the lyrics, because you can write the most beautiful art. If it just doesn't click with people melodically, it's especially Eurovision. Most people don't just listen to everything that they're singing the first time. A lot of them don't speak English or not well. I just don't, that's, I think, another thing. So I acknowledge that it was a pretty song, pretty lyrics, but excuse me, because my throat, I just don't think it's working out the way they intended. Go ahead, I got to talk real quick.
Someone said don't use Romania as a positive example. Their national final was a mess. I won't disagree with you there, but they did sit down and say, what are we not doing correctly? How are we going to regroup? How are we going to fix it? And I think that that's maybe what North Macedonia, because they did do national final and it was a little thrown together just, by nature of
Yeah.
design. So maybe it's one of those, let's sit down and say, what did we not do correctly? What do we need to regroup on? And how can we deliver this better so that when we get to Eurovision, we have a shot at top 10 or whatever success looks like to MRT and the Montenegro. I forget the Montenegrin broadcaster, but whatever achieving what success looks like to them, if that's qualification, top 10, top 3, winning, that's the conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah. Thank you, Marked Out, for your donation here in the super chat. Very much appreciated. No question, but it is, as I said, very much appreciated. So yeah, those were the actual qualifiers. Our team overall actually didn't do as well individually. I think we got, let's see here. We got Czech, we got Sweden, we got Azerbaijan, Poland, Serbia, Australia, and Romania. The ones that we all agreed, we got them right, 7. And then, interestingly enough, the ones we did not agree, San Marino, Israel, and Cyprus did not make it. Again, I blame the guys. I still believe they couldn't put Estonia. That was also the biggest surprise to me. But hey, that was their call. You got our team average down. How dare you? It's all good.
Well, our Estonian cowboy has entered the pit, the bubble,
to draw
whatever you want to call it. Yes.
So the odds, we don't know even if there is a number 1 left first half. If he draws it, then we know everybody else will for sure get second half.
I love how Urs from Romania is just kind of like in the background of this camera, like just like looking like this. Just...
like he is such a ball of sunshine, isn't he?
He's just like off. He's like off in another universe right now. He's just like,
he must be so happy. He like whatever position he gets in the final. He's like, I brought us back. I'm back. We're back in the game. In your face. So, well, not like that, but
So Stefan is second
half.
Second half. Estonia, second in the grand. No, I'm just kidding.
So now is the time to ask a lot of questions now that we discussed them all at ESC United in the chat. Would love to hear from you. Estonia will be the last song in the running order, Vaco is saying. Can you see Estonia closing the show?
I don't know about that. I mean, they like we said on Tuesday, they really like to close with kind of a big heavy hitter, and so I think
not even heavy hitter,
they
a
can.
party anthem. San Marino wasn't a heavy hitter, but it was like just upbeat and like lavenda, adrenalina, you know.
I meant when I said heavy hitter, I meant more like heavy party hitter, less of like a fan favorite heavy hitter. So I would say right now it's probably going to be Moldova.
Moldova would be a good closer, something like that. Yes,
it would be Moldova or Romania are going to be the two possible closers because they're the only two that are of an upbeat quality in the second half. It's not going to be Australia if they get it. It's probably not going to be Serbia either.
Yeah, I'm looking at the first. No, I don't see anything from the first semi aside Moldova, as you mentioned, that would have the UK not either. No, so yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, at least from what I'm seeing here right now.
I really think that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Romania.
Yeah.
Assuming that there's not a first half in there that they draw, I think it's gonna be Romania because that's gonna be the biggest sparkle ending.
Yeah. Who do you think, somebody's asking in the chat, Jay Stan, who will be second in the running order now? Ruby is asking.
Well,
any thoughts?
Also, I'm so confused on how Sheldon's going to make it all the way down to that thing with a 40-pound or 40
They didn't give him
he
couldn't he didn't have time to change, huh?
No, he's still wearing his 40-kilo feather.
Oh my lord, coat. Maybe he's still going to send someone from his team.
Well, I think Sasha Jean-Baptiste is technically with him, so
okay.
I think that's who that is, but I also don't know what Sasha Jean-Baptiste looks like. Second, who's going to go second?
I mean, looking at the list right now, there are a lot of candidates actually that could be second, but I've noticed, at least this year, because it used to be like we're going to start with a bang and then we go with slow song. It seems like they want to have a couple of bangers to get the energy going and then slow down. That seems to be like the pattern this year. So I'm not convinced that the second song, well, it may be a slower song because we have so many.
I think it's going to be a slower song, and if I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's going to be Switzerland or Netherlands.
Switzerland? Do you think it's too slow?
Well, because of the fact that I think that you're going to go with the two songs that are the slowest.
Yeah.
In this part of the semi.
He's the sacrificial lamb.
Get them out of the way, and they're out. They're done. We move on, and then if you kind of move between the rest of them, so if you go from, like, let's say Netherlands goes first, you go from Netherlands to Germany to Finland to Switzerland to Armenia to Czech Republic. Like, you can build up kind of each way. But yeah, I think Switzerland or Netherlands.
Could it be Iceland though? Iceland wouldn't be a terrible second.
Iceland is in the second half.
Oh, that's right. Australia. Never mind. You're right. I'm lying.
Australia is also in the second half. So
I keep forgetting. Oh, Australia's in the second half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we still don't know if
he made it down there.
We still don't know because 3 left, right? So at least 2 will be in the second half. Potentially all 3 of them. We are not 100% certain.
Yeah, shout out to whoever is doing the wiki right now, because they are like immediately updating things.
Oh, that's me. No, I'm kidding. France closed in 2017. That's why I'm saying Estonia. I see what you're saying. They don't, but it's as of late, I think they've done that. Who was last in 2018? Help me out real quick.
2018.
Who was last in 2018? Oh, Italy. See, that wasn't a banger either, to be fair. You know what I mean? So we don't know. I mean, it just has been as of late.
Oh yeah, I was like, who was Italy? But yeah.
So,
that took me a while. But also, to be fair, it was Wayland, Ryan O'Shaughnessy, Eleni Ferreira, and then Italy. So it had a little bit of a wave.
True.
To their close.
True. Yeah.
And then Hungary. So it was Hungary, Israel, Netherlands, Ireland, Cyprus, Italy. So it was a
Oh yeah, people are saying no, Italy wasn't last, and they thought like in the running order, not the scoreboard. um, yeah, they weren't last. Obviously, I think
triggered.
triggered.
Well, and let's look at 2019 as well. That might give us maybe a bit of an indication here.
Well, I know
Which
Lavenda last.
Lavenda was last, Kate Miller-Heidke, and Switzerland and Serbia. So again, ballad, pop, mid-tempo, pop, party pop. So, I mean, if I had to take a guess, really, if I had to, I would say it'd be Stefan, Nadir, Monica or sister, and then Romania or Moldova.
Yeah.
Like,
Real quick, we gotta PayPal the link. Thank you, Erica, saying, "Hey guys, I've been following ESC United for years. Became a massive ESC fan in 2014, and I'm so grateful for the amazing professional and fun content you guys make. The ESC experience so enriching and has got me through so many hard times."
Aww.
That last sentence means a lot to me. I've got people reach out to me before that we help them for difficult times. I mean, that all makes it worth it. So thank you for the kind words. I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, don't make me
So
cry.
happy to help.
Yeah. So, who were your top 3 performances from tonight? Anna is asking. Not even necessarily your favorite song, Consus. I will look at the list real quick because I don't remember even who's taking part this year anymore.
I'll tell you, from my side, Azerbaijan, still just a knockout performance for me. Czech Republic, obviously, rip my flag. And Romania, yeah, my top 3 from my qualifiers all showed up and delivered today. Real close for Cornelia in the 4th slot, but it's like a matter of like 0.01.
Yeah.
Missed out.
Romania, Poland, and Czech Republic will be my answer. Also, Sweden a close 4th because she's just always, but nothing has changed. So we all probably a little bit more used to it, though. Maybe that's why it's less for her to like wow us. But I will say that was probably also just her best performance yet. And though she's mostly consistent, but everything else around her really came together. Sweden drawing.
Oh, she's crying. She's crying in the press conference room. Cornelia, I have no idea why.
Oh, I want her to win now. No, I get it. I don't make fun of it because, sometimes, I mean, I can only imagine how it must feel like because she's getting a lot of love and support, people, and it's probably an overwhelming feeling, that kind of exposure. So I am,
Oh, wow.
What?
She's like, "Can I get a hug?" And he goes, "Yes." And she legitimately just jumped.
The host?
Jumped into his arms, and he's carrying her all the way down to the bowl.
Oh, why is she so? We didn't know why she was so emotional, huh?
No, I have no idea. She's not emotional anymore. She's laughing, but I'm like, she wants to be in the second.
She's having fun.
So she's like, should I pick this one or should I pick that one? This one or that one?
And Sweden ends up in.
Cornelia is basically milking this moment.
Well, do it. That's like her special moment.
She has like a gun up to his head, and she's like, if it's not the second, and he goes, I would prefer the pistol right now.
And what does she have?
She goes, you're supposed to be on the floor now. You're dead. She's just having the time of her life right now. Cornelia, babe, which section did you draw?
We'll tell you after this commercial break. Okay, I'm just being quiet here. Second half. That was worth it. She must. I mean, there's a good chance that everything is second half, anyways.
Yeah, that's a big chance. But
we should know there is still a slight chance, a 50-50 chance. There's one first half in there. And we have who's left? Serbia and who's number 9? Romania could be a closer, as we said, assuming they're going to be second half. What is the biggest thing, Faith is asking, that you've learned covering this competition in the years you've covered it? That's a really good question. And I don't have a good answer for that. What have I learned?
The one thing I have learned is that it is literally impossible to predict what Europe is going to do. I mean, it's a little bit easier for us to predict the juries sometimes, just because we know what criteria they might be looking for, and they're looking for good performances and things like that. But like, we literally, in an alternate reality on Earth 242, San Marino could have won the semifinal because they came first in the televote. Because like it's impossible to know what Europe's going to do. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things, is that we can predict all we want, and people like take our predictions as like the Bible,
The
when in
gospel.
reality it's
Yeah.
just us saying like, this is what we think could happen, but we don't really know, because you don't know what Europe is going to do.
And what they're in the mood for at that particular point. And maybe they would have voted differently if they had a bad day, or like just like me, I said, I've been gravitating towards the happy songs, and that's just sometimes how it goes. And usually I'm a big good. I love me a good ballad, but I need happy music right now. Kiara, thank you so much for your super chat. Very much appreciated. Now that we know all finalists, who is getting 12 points from the Italian jury this year? I think Armenia could be a good candidate. It's cheesy enough. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what Italian juries usually go for, and how they've voted in the past. It's hard to remember every single vote. Do they have like a very odd taste?
Not that I remember. I don't remember anything. Well, actually, let me go to. There's a master. Not you. There's like a Venn diagram. There it is. Voting at the Eurovision Song Contest. Nope. There's a Venn diagram somewhere on the internet that I'll have to find.
Okay, that's fine if you don't know the top of my head.
No, it has a breakdown of who swaps points the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't find it right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Didn't Italy go for Ukraine last year and Denmark Viking? So perhaps Serbia this year. I could see that. Were they the ones that went for Denmark? Because I remember Denmark got like virtually no points from the juries and then got one random 12-pointer. I just don't remember if they did that. I just remember, but that was before the split breakout, that Italy was the only country, that gave Euphoria 0 points. That I remember. That was another interesting thing, but. Italy was the only country who didn't give Lorraine. Oh, there's somebody else said that as well. Yes, that I remember as well, because they made fun of it in the 2013 contest, where they gave them 13 points to make up for that. Good times.
Yeah, they're not on the. I just found it. They're not on the graphic of predictable voting patterns, and so I think Italy's jury is up to whoever they want, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that as well. All right, so we're still waiting for Romania.
Yep, still waiting.
Come on, Llámame. They gave 12 points to Norway in 2018. Oh, so it wasn't them who gave 12 points, but Norway. Okay, that's not how you write a song. I remember that song. Italy gave 12 points to the group. Good taste, Italy. Good taste. They seem
That was to Norway, not to the group. I want that to be documented. Norway 2018.
No, those were two different statements. The one
Yes.
person said, in case it sounded like I was saying the same thing. Will you record a reaction video of the running order? Well, it depends on how late it comes out. Believe it or not, but I have to sleep at some point, and I need to pack.
No sleep. I don't sleep. I'm a vampire.
Yes. And I got to be up fairly early tomorrow because we're going to have a long ass day. And then Saturday, I have to leave basically in the morning. Who is Greece going to give the 12 points now that Cyprus is in the final? We talked about that earlier, and we looked at some possibilities. But I don't know off the top of my head either. Who?
Oh, shiz. I just realized that. Oh, wait, that's the opening. Never mind. I was like, oh, shiz. Everything starts at 9:30 in the morning? No, never mind. 13. The opening rehearsal, the flag parade is at 9:30.
Ah, okay.
Thank
Yeah, we won't be able to see that, but they're going to rehearse that as well, I guess.
because
But
that is 2:30 for
I don't know if
me.
they're going to have the artists for that, because I mean, look at these poor souls here. They're still up.
They might. They usually, I think, send a delegation member at the least.
Yeah, I think something like that. And somebody's asking, is jury night tomorrow? Yes.
First half for Romania.
Oh, there was one left.
I think
Oh,
they're opening now.
oh, so it's not Czech Republic anymore?
I think it's going to be Romania opening.
That means Serbia's in the second half. All the
So Serbia's the
Serbian
second half.
folks in the chat rejoice. This was a good balance because we have a lot of the upbeat songs from this semi now in the first half, evening it out a little. So it's not going to be as ballad heavy as we initially feared, because I even said, I mean, there's a good chance that either Poland, Australia, or Sweden will end up in the first half, and none of them did. So now it seems a lot more balanced. Interesting how that goes, huh?
That's just the luck of the draw, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Serbia's got to luck out because she could have ended up, if he picked the other one, probably would have ended up in the first half.
And then all the theatrics would have been like, oops. Thank you again. I'm not going to read your name again. I did that earlier. VXCB, etc. Second half is so slow. Only 2 lively songs. I think that has changed now. Double check that, because we have more.
We have in the second half.
We have Czech Republic. We have Spain. We have Romania. We have Finland. We have France. We have a good amount of Ukraine.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
have
not that bad.
We have a good balance. So they at least now have some stuff to work with, which is great.
Yeah, they're all probably just taking a big sigh for. They haven't even started doing the running. Well, they maybe started a little bit testing around, I'm sure, but they cannot even really finalize or like really figure it out because they didn't know until this moment. Now they know.
Yeah, and then over on the second half side, I mean, the slower songs. I like how someone already moved to Serbia.
Yeah.
The slower songs are obviously Australia, Azerbaijan, Belgium, Greece, Iceland, and Lithuania. So
they're talking about the second half. I misunderstood. I thought they were talking the first half. The second half, let me see.
The second half is only 6 songs out of 12, so it's half and half, really.
Yeah, United Kingdom is upbeat. Moldova
actually,
certainly is.
Poland is in there too, so technically there's 7 out of 12.
You know what? It is true though. Now looking at it, the second half may be even slower than the first half. I didn't. Now we look. Yeah, because just to draw how it happened.
I think that there's just not enough foils in the second half.
True.
Compared to the first half, again, because you got the big 5 in there: Germany, France, and Spain in there that are going to help break it up. They really would have benefited from having some of those other ones in the second half.
I could see a song like Belgium actually closing now, because I don't think they're going to put one of the upbeat songs at the end, because they need some of them in between.
I don't think Belgium would be the best candidate for that.
Well, that's at least mid-tempo. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of something more mid-tempo. Maybe Estonia. Estonia could be closer.
I think if they wanted to do something, they would pick Estonia, Greece, or Sweden.
I think Greece is too sad. And I don't think they're going to do Sweden, because Sweden has already second to last in 2021. I think they're going to give them like, that screams too much favoritism. So I think it could be Lithuania. Now Lithuania's not a closer either. I think Estonia is, their best bet at this point.
Iceland to close the Eurovision 2022 grand final.
It's Serbia. I don't think Serbia is a closer. Although, who knows? I don't even know anymore. This is going to be a slightly different running order than what we're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to call this quits soon now in just a moment. If the Dutch guy deciding the running order doesn't place Mauro late first half, then he is a heartless bastard. And he relaxes. You cannot be. Why is he heartless? Because you like that song?
Wow, harsh words.
A little much. So I think the press conference over. Of course, you heard a lot of boom, boom, boom over there. That's usually a good indicator.
Hey, if you want to come to a proper tailgate, come to my university. We're a big tailgate campus.
So as a reminder, tomorrow we are going to have a live stream for the first dress rehearsal to get the full run through of this grand final. Mostly will be hosted by Roy and Sean. I will be in the arena for a little while. In the evening, it'll be all jury show. So 50% of the votes will be decided tomorrow night. Be here. It's not going to be live broadcast, but you can join us here from the press center as we are watching it on your behalf. And then, of course, you know what's happening on Saturday. So there is plenty of action. And then we're done. And then we're done once again. Then we're going to start it all over because then we're going to focus on 23 the moment we have a winner. That's kind of how we roll.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll
the
take a
first
break.
do
We'll
you
take a
have the first dress rehearsal? Is it like at 1:30 or what time does it start? Can you double check?
Yes, the first dress rehearsal begins at 1300 to 1650. And then they will have about an hour break in between, and the jury show starts at 2100, just like normal.
Yeah. So unless a major delay, so it starts at 1:00.
1:00 European time. Yes.
Yes, correct. Central European time. Very, very important. If you're in the UK, don't get confused. Or Portugal, I guess. It's always unfair. We always mention the UK, but Portugal is in the same time zone. So yes, as always, as Osiros, our fantastic both mods, of course, here right now active, said, please hit the like button, subscribe, keep us alive, because it's a wild, wild world out there.
If you don't like this video, we actually die. So
yes. Yes, you can. Yes. A little angel gets really sick. So you can't let that happen. Those poor little angels. So anyways, we will be back again. The jury show will be at 9 as always. So at 9:00 tomorrow. But we'll be online a little earlier to start our chat a little bit and get some questions in and all of that. Guilt tripping chat. That's right. That's the only way you can do it. So have a good night, everyone. And I gotta get out of here because they're gonna close this place up soon. So I'll see you all tomorrow.